Okay, buddy.
I mean, there's no way they can go, right?
There's always a way they can go, pal.
They can like break the window, but then we would catch them because they can't run with me. Actually, we would pull a hammy, mom would hurt back. So
I would not pull a hammy. I'd be okay. Adrenaline would get me through it. Your mom would hurt her back.
And then you pull a hammy after.
Thanks, buddy. What's up, Megan? Get that Walmart bag ready. Hate that for you. It sucks. Hey, Jessica, how are you? Guys are on here quickly, man. Quickly. Just give people a minute to get in on here. Hope everyone's doing all right. What's up, Brad? Brad, that freaking puppy, dude. I could watch her all day long. She just makes me laugh, man. She is friggin' awesome. Hey, Tim. Hello, D. She is so much fun to watch, dude. She is something else. I like her name, too, Sheila. Sheila. That's pretty cool. I like people named for dogs. Hey, Bridget. How are you? What's today? Tuesday? Happy Tuesday. Give people a few minutes to jump on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, I love the videos. I smile every time I watch them. Hi, Linda. Every time I watch those damn videos, Brad, they make me laugh. Hello, Cheryl. I was getting tired and I was going to not do this, but I already said I would. Oh, Lisa, thank you for asking. What am I drinking tonight? I just cracked a new bottle of E.H. Taylor, bottled in bond. Hey, Kate. Got to get together soon, Kate. I've been really busy, but I should have some time or I'm going to be down there soon. So a nice bottle I found in Arkansas. Found a few nice bottles in Arkansas. Had a good trip out there. Hey, Butch, what's going on, buddy? Long time no see. Hope everyone's doing okay. Just another minute or two. What's everyone got going on a Tuesday night? Is Tuesday a good time to do these things? Most people home doing nothing, watching the NBA playoffs maybe. Nothing else to really do. Oh, good, cool. Thanks, Linda. I can't wait to see Loki. Hey, Patty. Yeah, Kate, thanks again. I think I picked the perfect dog for that. And the response to the video has been insane. Nothing that I expected, like far exceeded my expectations. And so I love people are finding value in it, stuff that's able to be put to use. That's what's important, right? The simplicity of it. And I love what Nick said. He said it the best when asked. It's so basic, it's advanced. I love that. I don't think it's advanced at all, but I understand what he means. I think people expected something different, All right, we're on this thing long enough now. Just thanks, Kate. He did a great job. I think if you see him at the end, like that's what a dog's supposed to look like. It's friggin' awesome. Friggin' awesome. That recall looks amazing, Jessica, with your boy. Beautiful, beautiful recall. Hey, Chris. All right, so let's get started. Let me make sure I change the privacy on this so people could see it. That's up to you, Megan. I don't push anything, You know that. Let me see what we got here. Let me just check the privacy, make sure people can get on here. Yep, it's public. Good. All right. So Megan saw you had Warren in private, saw him at Ivan. What a difference those two made with one. Yeah, it's Warren's doing great, Megan. Like really doing great. Like Salem's doing amazing. He's a great dude. He's a really good dude. You know, he came to, I forget what seminar, Dallas, maybe after you saw him, and she was a lot. What's up, Dylan? Dylan's killing it out there, man. She was a lot, you know, and he really did a great job through the weekend with her. And man, he's done amazing. So, you know, and again, that's the difference in presenting something very different to the dog, right? And made all the world of difference with him. She's a lot. She's a pistol, you know. She was a lot there too, and keeps it. Yeah, yeah, he does for sure. I love a dog like that. Yeah, Dylan's doing phenomenal stuff, man. He's doing it the way it's supposed to be done. No bullshit, no gimmicks, and what he's providing is it's not it's not something that's turning on and off for video purposes. You know what I mean? It's he's doing a good job. Keep it up, Dylan. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, so I mentioned something today. I made a post, which here's the thing. What's up, Matt? How you doing, buddy? I didn't think there was anything controversial and negative about the post, right? I thought it was pretty positive, but I still got unfriended by 3 people. So every day I get unfriended by at least 1 or 2 people. So literally right after that post, 3 people cut me off. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, why? Like, what is offensive about that, right? What is offensive about that? Like, I don't understand it. So I'm going to give you, so I've been doing this a really long time now, right? And most of what I've done over the years, and believe me, I'm still learning, I'm still a student constantly. I've always tried to provide for the everyday dog owner, not dog trainers that don't try to market to dog trainers and sell dog trainers and show off for dog trainers. I truly have tried to help the people that struggle, the everyday dog owners. And when you do that, you really learn a lot about what's out there, good and bad, right? And it's not easy. It is not easy at all. So there's this belief that a lot of people carry that dogs are just very selfish beings, right? And they only do things to better themselves. There's this belief out there, and that's okay if that's how you see things. And in some ways, there could be some truth to that, right? But I don't see the animal like that. And I think if you do see the animal like that, I think you're going to struggle getting the best out of all dogs, right? I think that kind of mentality can do well with a specific kind of dog, but usually not the dogs that we're seeing in the real world, the everyday dog owner. Now, remember, that's where the massive numbers are, right? Those are the people that the force-free people cater to help take our tools away, the way we train, right? And you can't blame them. It's very effective, very effective. But exactly, Xavier, if that's how you see things, you're going to train in a very specific way. A lot of macho training, a lot of big ego training. And we see that every day. I see it literally every day, right? So just through the seminars last year or 1 year, right, we were in front of just under 1,000 people. That's a lot of people. You get to talk to a lot of people. You get to see a lot of dogs. And that's my best education. You really see what's out there, interacting with people. I do online consultations 5 days a week. I get to speak to people all over the world every single day. And I've been doing this for many, many years, right? I'm not a trainer that says, I've trained over 5,000 dogs. You never hear me talk about numbers like that because I haven't. And when I hear someone who's half my age say something like that, I'm like, if that's true, then most likely you've done a really shitty job because you haven't put much time into the dogs you're working with. It's physically impossible, right? So I've never been after the numbers. I've been after the knowledge. And where I find the knowledge, I tried to pass it on to the people who truly need it. What I have become much better at over the years is providing that knowledge to the everyday dog owner. Years ago, it didn't take me long to realize I was focusing on the wrong end of the leash. I put too much emphasis on the dog, and then I would give too much to the owners to try to consume. And it just doesn't work. Okay. Because most professional dog trainers can't consume much new information and put it to use successfully. So now imagine someone with no dog training knowledge, no dog training ability. That's why clients say they have lazy clients who don't like to do their homework. No, they're just overwhelmed and don't know what to do, right? Don't know what to do. So for me, I started a long time ago, and every time I put out one of those videos, when I have a client that is generous enough to let me film a whole session, especially a first session, those are always the biggest hits with people. People appreciate that so much because there's no glamour to it. There's no editing, there's no facade, there's no sexiness to it. It's just a real inside look at me, the owner, and the dog, and how we do things together, right? The majority of that time is focused on the human. If I take your dog for a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I keep dogs a long time, that is still probably, I've done the math before. If I remember correctly, it's still way less than 1%, way less than 1% of the dog's actual life that it's going to spend with its owners. So how valuable is the information I put on the dog? Long term, not very. Where the value comes in and the true everlasting results is what I could pass on and how I could educate the owners. That's it. Now, recently, some of you may know, my wife left corporate America after many, many years and started helping me full time. She's handling all the emails, the messages, my schedule, everything, and this is brand new to us, but it's going really well. And she was only on the job 2 days. And after going through my emails, she was like, holy shit. Like, I don't know how you do this. This is insane, right? For many reasons. Overwhelming messages from all over the world for people. Some people just struggling, some people looking for answers, some people send the most beautiful messages. And the one thing I really love about her doing this, like every day now, she'll find messages and say, you have to read these. Like, these are really, you have to read them and you have to respond, right? Because their responses from their emails from people that maybe I never met, or maybe I did, that if it wasn't for her doing this now, I probably would never see. And they're unbelievable emails of gratitude, and where people say, take time out to say the most beautiful things. So I've been trying to share them a little bit lately, not for marketing purposes, not to say, hey, look what I'm capable of. No, I want the everyday human, the everyday dog owner that is struggling big time to see what the possibilities are. Because these are everyday dog owners that find tremendous success when they failed over and over and over. 3, 4, 5 trainers, some of them, $20,000, some of them, right? What's up, Sharonica? How are you? And the messages are amazing. So that's why I started sharing them recently. And plus, because of with all the nastiness online, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. So I stay out of that. I don't want nothing to do with it, right? And I'm never going to tell anyone you have to do things my way. And it's the only, no, you pick and choose. You do what works for you. Just understand that what the limitations and what the risks are. You understand? Absolutely, Dylan. No doubt. What's up, Brad? Hey, Julio, right? So I'm going to give you a few things that maybe you guys, if you're young trainers or just dog owners, I'm going to give you, what's up, Rob? I'm going to give you just some ideas of where I see people struggling every single day, right? That if we just focus on the simplicity of basic stuff, those big problems dwindle away very, very easily. All right. So give me a second here. Let's use, well, whether it's a seminar, private lesson, whatever, even my online consultations, right? For my online consultations, I ask people to submit 2 videos, a couple of minutes long each, 2, 3, 4 minute stops each. The first one that I want to see is I want to see you doing basic obedience with your dog on leash. Sometimes you're rewarding, sometimes you're not. You're mixing it up, okay? Also, if you play tug with your dog, which I'm hoping most people do, it's getting better out there. I want to see your dog on a long line, you playing tug with your dog for a few minutes. Those 2 videos, you send me those, and it's not mandatory. I don't make people do it, but I tell people, if you send me those 2 videos, we are going to get you further than the last $6,000 board and train you did. I promise. I guarantee you, right? And people get so hung up on sending maybe not exactly what I asked for. They want to send extra and different things because they want to show me what their dog knows and what their dog can do. What they have a hard time understanding is I don't give a damn about the dog. I don't give a damn what the dog knows, what it doesn't know. I don't care what the dog is doing. These videos have nothing to do with the dog. I want to know what you're doing. I want to see what you're doing. I want to see what your communication system is like with the dog. How do you get the dog to do the things you want it to do? What do you do when the dog does what you want? What do you do when the dog doesn't do what you want, right? I want to see how interested that dog is in you when you have nothing on you, nothing to provide the dog, right? Does that dog want to interact with you, or is everything else more interesting? I want to see you playing with the dog. What does that look like, right? What does your communication system look like? And I could tell you this, the majority of people I work with in person, online, I would say 98%, if not higher, have a very unclear communication system. They lie to their dog all the time. They're not consistent. They're not encouraging. Their dog isn't clear of things. It's confused. There is no desire to be its best self because it really doesn't know what you want. What's up, Leroy? Hey, Beth. Okay, what do I mean by that? When I watch the videos that people send me, and most of them are, listen, my dog can't be around dogs. My dog can't be around people. That's most of them. And I have some phenomenal people I work with online. So I'll watch the videos and then I'll say, okay. I'll ask someone, what is your reward marker? And they'll say, yes. I'll say, okay. And I'll say, no, it's not. But that's beside the point. And then I say, what's your no marker? And they'll usually say no. Say, okay. How did you teach yes? And then most people kind of have an idea that they should make yes kind of strong, and they'll make an attempt in doing so, although usually they fall short, right? But then the problem is I watch them interact with their dog and they switch right to the porn yeses right away. They're yesing for everything when nothing happens. They're consistently lying to their dog. They use it all the time through the play, through the training, right? No rewards, no play, no bite, no nothing. And they wonder why that word has no value to them. Well, they've made it very invaluable because people that struggle with behavioral problems tend to talk a lot to their dogs. Meaningless talk that means nothing to the dog. Like, people really struggle with the understanding that dogs don't care about the things that come out of your mouth unless there's something attached behind it that makes sense to the dog, right? Now, when we get to know, I say, okay, what's your no mark? Well, it's no. And I say, okay, how did you teach it? And that's where you usually get a lot of silence and they have to think about it. And I only get one of two answers. I get, well, I guess I didn't. Or I get, well, when he does something I don't like, I tell him no. Okay. Well, what does that mean to the dog? Because they don't speak. That's just a noise that comes out of your mouth, right? The only way they know what that noise means is what consistently follows that noise that comes out of your mouth, right? So if you go back and watch Dante at 12 weeks old and he's running down my driveway away from me and I say yes, and he hits the brakes, literally skids on the concrete and flies back, that's because for the 2 weeks that I had him, I never lied about yes, right? It was yes, feed, yes, feed, yes, feed, yes, feed, yes, ball, yes, bite for 2 weeks, right? So it becomes reflexive, automatic. He doesn't have to think about it. I don't use it unless I'm going to be truthful about it. And the same thing with no. My Chihuahua, I should say my wife's Chihuahua, he knows no really well because I taught him the first week when he was biting the shit out of me, right? And anyone who knows me, I'm a really light-handed trainer. I don't use a lot of punishment. I don't use a lot of corrections, not because I'm against it, because I don't have to, because I teach the dog, I educate the dog, right? And the dog is crazy about me for one reason is because the consistency and the clarity is there. I make sense to them, right? They don't have to wonder. Like they know exactly what I'm asking, even if I'm not asking for it. And anyone's capable of that, except the everyday dog owner wants to put human emotions and human psychology on their animal, and then they get frustrated when they doesn't. The overuse of punishment is insane. And the problem is it's not even punishment. It's just excessively harsh negative reinforcement. And it makes the dog live in this conflicting world where in the dog's head, you're kind of teaching it to do exactly what you don't want it to do. And that is something that almost everyone I work with, and Dylan Jones is someone who knows exactly what I'm talking about because that's why he's having the success that he's having. He understands it also, right? That's a big problem with people. Anyone who's been to my seminars, you'll know sometimes I'll call out a dog trainer. I'll say, okay, out of all dog trainers, who has really good obedience? And a lot of people will raise their hands. And I'll say, okay, cool, come on out. 2 minutes, show me everything the dog knows, just have a good time, right? And they'll come out, they'll do a bunch of obedience. And usually they do really good stuff, right? It's really nice obedience. All right. I say, awesome, great. Now, I want you to do the same thing, but now I want you to stand there and you're not allowed to move. No hand signals, no nothing. You have to just stand there, give all the same commands that you gave before. And what happens is 9 out of 10 people fail miserably because the dog doesn't know the word that's coming out of your mouth. They know the help that you provide that word before the word comes or at the same time the word comes. The dog never has the opportunity to learn that word like you think it knows. They just don't. Why? Because human habits are the hardest thing to break when it comes to dog training. By far, the hardest thing to break. It's very, very hard. The human wants to do everything with the physical first or at the same time, making the picture very cloudy for the dog, right? The dog's always going to learn the physical, the visual cue before the verbal cue. So the human, think about this. The average human gets ready to go train their dog. Hold on. And they gear up, they go, they get their little textured fanny pouch to put their food in. They put their pouch on. They get the crinkly bag of treats out and they stick that in the pouch because they don't want their pouch to get dirty. And they're doing all these things And then they go out to train the dog, and the dog is glued on them. And they're like, oh, look at this engagement, right? Engagement. No, you already marked everything for the dog. The dog, you already gave the dog all the information you need to give the dog to know what's going to happen. You're not being successful in anything, right? Because the second you went and grabbed that little pouch that you put food in, that's the first signal to the dog, this is what we're doing. I'm going to have food on me. And so all you have to do is pay attention to me and do what I say, and you're going to get this. And then people worry why they struggle so much, right? It's a false positive for these dogs. It's a false positive. It's so great to see people getting more involved in play now, right? But then when people send me the videos of them playing tug, most people, what do? Yes, or they say nothing, and they take the tug and they smash it in the dog's face. And the dog goes like this, and they're like, they don't really play tug. They don't like to play. Well, no shit, right? And this is a popular saying in dog training. I wish I know who said it first, but there are no suicidal rabbits, okay? The rabbit does not jump in the dog's mouth. This should be a competitive game of chase me and catch me and eat me, right? But the average dog owner, it's hard for them to learn those mechanics. So we work at teaching it in a very simplistic way so they could start making changes. But then what's one of the most common things I see? Now, remember, a big part of that interaction in the game, it's not just about having fun or tying your dog out or building a relationship. And all those things are true, right? But in that game, if we do it correctly and you make it competitive, you make it like so friggin' awesome for the dog, you get to build your whole communication system in that game. But you also get to set rules and boundaries that make sense to the dog that will transfer to the real world. I'll give you an example. What's one of the most popular things I see, the most common things I see? You get someone, dog's finally playing tug, and as soon as the dog starts playing, they tell him out, and then they say yes and give the dog a piece of food. Why would you do that? Why would you bring food into it and just destroy all the excitement you just created? Or they say out after 5 seconds of play and start asking for obedience. Place, down. No, that's not what this is about. You have to spend that time developing this relationship with the dog where they think, I'd rather do this than anything else. Okay? If you see me throwing a ball for Dante or Mango, or Luca, Buddy, almost every time I throw a ball for them, you're going to see at least one rabbit take off from the wood line right where that ball is. They don't look at it. They'll notice it, but they don't care. Why? Because I give them an opportunity to do that with me every day. And they would rather do that with me than do that by themselves. Okay? Another super common thing, playing tug, we say out. The dog makes a nice out, and you're standing there with the tug, and the dog goes to grab it, and you say, and lift the tug up, right? You're telling the dog one thing, and you're doing another. The stuff has to stop. This is a good opportunity to teach no. I want the dog to make the mistake. Go ahead and grab it. I didn't give you permission. That's no. This is where the leash comes in. No, leash comes in. Now we're teaching no very clearly, right? We let go of the toy. We ask for an out. The dog drops it. It's on the ground. We're neutral. We're taking a break because it's exhausting playing with a strong dog, right? Dog goes to grab it before permission. No, leash. We're teaching the rules. No starts to have meaning. We go to pick it up. The dog grabs it. No, we get to teach the rules. You understand? These are things when we start making this stuff clear for everyday dog owners, you wouldn't believe what it does to them. You understand? The problem is with most people, they know nothing about just laying basic fundamentals on a dog. They don't know. They don't do it out of bad intentions. They have great intentions. That's why they're spending a fortune and going out of their way. to hire a train. I have people that come from private lessons from Canada. That's ridiculous. I don't want people driving to me from freaking Canada for private lessons. I don't want it, but they do it, right? They're good people. What's up, Ara? You understand what I'm saying? But they don't do this because they're bad people. No one's teaching them. Everybody I'm working with now, every single private lesson client I'm working with has been to at least 2 trainers, at least. Some of them very, very big name trainers, very big name trainers. Some of them very good trainers when it comes to dogs. But then when I see the people work the dog and interact with the dog, they know nothing. They do everything wrong. Everything. You understand? Everything. Because no one's shown them, because most dog trainers don't know. Most dog trainers do it wrong. You understand? That's not a popular statement, but it's true. And what happens is when the dog gets things wrong, well, they know better. Here comes the punishment, which isn't actually punishment. It's just the trainer being a frustrated asshole, right? And the dog doesn't even know what the right answer is because we didn't teach him properly. But when the human gets frustrated, they usually turn to force. That's where the finger gets on the button. That's where the leash gets used. And when that stops working, then they yell a little louder and they correct a little harder. Yell a little louder and correct a little harder. Okay? I use food in teaching behaviors, teaching positions, but you got to get rid of it pretty quickly. And if you're trying to solve all your major behavioral problems with a fanny pack filled with food on you, there's going to be a problem, right? That's going to be kind of difficult. There has to be more to it. There has to be more to that. The majority of the people I work with have destroyed their dogs by using food. Destroy them. Destroy them. They reward them for literally everything they do. Everything they do. Things a dog should just do, they're getting fed. They're getting food has no meaning anymore because they reward. I have a client that I love and adore. She'll probably see this. Hi, I'm not going to say your name. I love her to death. She's amazing. But she was rewarding her dog for everything. So what are you doing? Like what is so grand that she did? She knows she should do this stuff, right? And I said, yeah, but she went down. I'm like, well, she's supposed to go down. Like she has to, you understand? I said, let me ask you something. How old is your daughter? She said 47. I said, okay. Do you reward her with a piece of cake every time she poops on the potty? That's what you're doing to your dog. You understand? But people don't see it like that. They do it because they think they're supposed to, and it's a good thing. When in reality, it's a horrible thing. And people are destroying their relationships by constantly shoving food down their face. Now, on the flip side, it's a beautiful thing that the whole play thing is really taken off after all these years, and more people are starting to see the benefit. But at the same time, if you take that and only focus on that, the everyday dog owner is going to struggle inside the home where the real behavior is created, right? Going back to young Dylan Jones here, he made a post the other day that was fantastic. He showed some dogs inside the home and he said he doesn't use obedience in the house. And I thought people's heads were going to explode. I was like, neither do I. I don't either. I don't use obedience in the house. You understand? Like my dogs know how to live in here. They understand there's rules and there's boundaries. And for the first 2 years of their lives, I'm always showing them. I shape the behaviors I don't want. Now, I don't use a lot of free shaping in teaching behaviors. I do a little bit here and there. I use a lot of free shaping in teaching the retrieve, but I do a lot of free shaping in teaching the things I don't want, right? When the dog goes to something I don't want them, I wait. When they go to it, hey, that's not good. I don't like that over there. I'm always guiding them through their early months so they know what they can and can't do inside the home. I don't give them the freedom to make mistakes and get in trouble to where I always have to keep telling them you can't do that, right? I give them freedom as they can handle it. Where when they're about to do the wrong thing, I say, hey there, buddy, don't do that over here. And I say, oh, okay, Dad, I didn't know I can't go in there. No, you can't, right? But thank you for asking. You understand? So, like, I can go on and on and on with the people I talk. I talk to amazing people, but the problem is, like in the past month, I've had to turn down several people as clients. Absolutely, Dylan. Absolutely. Well, Dylan, that's a good point. We have that other thing where people want to correct the thought of the dog doing something, interrupt the dog when it's thinking about making a mistake. That's going to be a problem, guys, right? I want to give feedback on the dog's decision. Okay. So let's say if I have a dog that goes crazy when it sees other dogs on the leash, right? Super reactive on leash. I'm not taking that dog out on leash for a good 2 or 3 weeks. He's never getting an opportunity to rehearse that behavior. I'm going to stay in my backyard on my property, and I'm going to make that dog think I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. And sliced bread is pretty good, right? If you get fresh loaf. He's going to love me. He's going to trust me. That's important. He's going to trust me. I'm never going to be unfair to him. That doesn't mean I'm going to let him do whatever he wants. But a dog doesn't care about doing anything they want. They care about you being clear and consistent. And they appreciate that and they love that. And they will gravitate to you when there's no guessing games. And oh man, it makes their world happy. So if I get a dog that can't be around dogs, for 2 or 3 weeks, he's not going to see any other dog except for my own on my property, right? And we're going to play, we're going to play, we're going to play. I'm going to do a little obedience in there too, but not a lot. I do very little obedience. I do some, but not a lot. The majority of that is building our communication system, making yes and no really, really strong, right? Developing that game where it's competitive, right? Where it's really competitive. You understand? And he's going to learn rules and boundaries within that game. And I'm going to tell you, and this is the way I've been doing that for years. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. When I take him out for the first time, yet let's use Keela, for example, because you guys saw Keela. She was probably the best female shepherd I ever worked with, but she's a lot. Ooh, she's a lot. She has it all, man. She has it all. Well, Keela will go crazy when she sees dogs. Well, she's not going out to see dogs. For 3 weeks, we spent it in my yard and we trained, and I got her to love that game. Now she loves to play tug, but she knows the rules and boundaries, right? So I knew the very next day, I have a client coming down from Canada with 2 dogs. I'm going to take her with me, and this is going to be the first time she's around dogs outside of my property in my presence. So what do? What's the last game we play? Now the game's not coming directly from me. Now the tug is starting on the ground over there, which of course she's going to want to go get it. And I have to tell her, no, you can't have that. I didn't give you permission yet. And she's going to struggle with that at first because this doesn't make any sense to her. It's my job to show her, you can't have that right now. I didn't give you permission to have that. I need you with me walking nicely at my side. You understand? To which eventually I get her to do. There's no e-collars here, guys. I'm not forcing her into those positions. I'm showing her what I want. When she's in that position, yes, mama, go get that. Now we play, right? And we build the game like that. Why? Because the very next day, when I show up to see my client with 2 dogs and I take her out of my truck, what's the first thing she does when she sees? She barks, but mildly. She's not going, she barks and says, hey. I literally say, hey, what are you doing? But the emotional connection that I have with her, she understands my body language. She understands my facial expression. She understands me going, what the fuck are you doing? And she goes, oh, I guess those rules that we do in the yard, I got to do that here too. Yeah, mama. Yeah. I didn't have to correct her the rest of the day because I already taught that. I already trained that in the privacy of my backyard. You understand? What do a lot of people do first thing in that situation? Dog gets out, barks, boom, e-collar, boom, prong collar. The overuse of punishment that makes no sense to the dog is rampant in this industry. Rampant. And if you find yourself correcting a dog constantly, no matter how you have to do it, You have to ask yourself, am I doing the right thing here? Does this make sense? Right? Does this make sense? Hey, Monique, I had a young lady at one of the seminars not too long ago, recent. She had a really intense dog, really intense pit bull, right? Really intense. And while I was working with another dog, I looked up and she kept correcting the dog with the leash and prong collar, like over and over. And the dog's getting fired up. And I said, well, why are you doing that? And she said, he won't stop. Like he's shaking and trying to get away, trying to get to the dog. I said, okay, is it working? Right? That's a question you have to ask. Is it working? And she said, no. I said, okay, let's go a different route. If something's not working, we have to change something, maybe change everything, right? So people would be amazed what you can do if you put things on a marker, on a cue, on a signal, whatever you want to call it. Okay. For example, when we first got Benny, my wife's little Chihuahua, and I went to put one of Joel's little alternative collars over his head, he was like, hell no, no, that thing's going to kill me. No. Well, he has to put it on, right? So, of course, I made him put it on. But then right after that first time, every time after that, before I did that, I'd say collar, and then I would put the collar, and he would fight it. I'd say collar, and then I'd put the collar, and he would fight it. Where it only took a day, I don't know, 2 days maybe, I don't know. It didn't take long to where I'd say collar, and he'd go ahead, put it on. I let him know what's coming. You understand? With this girl, I said, let's put him on a relaxation cue, right? Every dog that comes to me for a board and train, I put them on the crate top first thing in the morning after they go pee and poop. And I tell them easy, and I give them a massage. Back end to front end to back. I give them a nice massage. And very quickly, these dogs look forward to that every morning. And I told her, let's start telling this dog easy. Then I want you to start rubbing them, right? And let's start working on that. And you could, when you get home, you could start practicing that. Now, I didn't expect it to go like this, but it was literally a couple of minutes later, she's like, that's ridiculous. It took 5 minutes. It's like, that's awesome. I didn't think it'd work that fast, right? But you'd be amazed what you could change in these animals when we show them something that we want. But most people don't show what they want. They tell the dog what they want, and they think the dog knows. And then when the dog doesn't get it right, boom, the hammer comes down. And it's a constant, you know? Okay, Luke. Luke says, what makes you decide to decline taking someone on as a client? Great question. And I started going into that, and I'm all over the place. Here's what happened. So I'm talking to people now that have situations where they have dangerous dogs, right? Dangerous dogs. And I don't mind working with dangerous dogs. The problem is, those are dogs that I have to see you for private lessons, not board and trains, right? If you have a dog that will turn on you and hurt you, if you have a dog that will attack your family members or strangers, right? Anyone who's in the home, I'm not going to fix that in a board and train. Your dog's going to do great with me, and he's going to be able to deal with all that stuff. But if we're truly going to change that, then I have to spend a lot of time with you over a decent amount of time and be in your home with you to start teaching you where you're going wrong, how to change this permanently, right? Not just manage it, like to truly change it permanently. We're going to have to spend time together. And I can't take someone's money for a board and train knowing that I can't provide you the best results without doing private lessons at your place. So if someone lives across the country, I can't do that. You understand? I made a post about Heather and Nala the other day, because when you see Nala, she's the pit bull that was in the muzzle playing with the dog. She is someone I turned down. Multiple times I turned her down because that's a dangerous dog. Like, that is a legit killer of a dog, right? And the problem is, if that dog, when I first met her, from 200 yards sees a dog, that's it. And if you watch the video, I go through more details. There's no desire for food, play, affection, nothing. When she can't get to the dog, she'll turn on the owner. She snapped the leash and got to a dog. I can't remember if she killed it or not, but it's a serious thing. And I told Heather, I can't do this because I'm worried about your safety. I can't do it. I can't put you in harm's way. If she was just dangerous to other people, other dogs, then we could do it. But when she's dangerous toward you in this situation, I'm not comfortable with that. You know, she would not take no for an answer. She drives from out of state. And literally, that first lesson was okay, long line, heel, sit, heel, sit, heel, sit, turning directions, heel, sit, just starting to give the dog direction. Now you have to do this. No rewards, no praise, no nothing, because there is nothing that's rewarding to her. My first goal was I want you to get her to play with you if possible. There was no interest there. But friggin' Heather didn't stop. And eventually she got her to play inside the home. She found something she liked and the dog started playing. And from there, we started seeing the turnaround, right? I talk about how important it is getting these dogs off leash. These big major behavioral problems, you have to get them off leash. These dogs have to experience being a dog, running, smelling, sniffing, chasing things. It is the best medicine for all behavioral problems. It's a big part of the success we have with these dogs, right? Different places, running, water, streams, lakes, running through the woods, running in a park, no leash attached. They have to have it. And you wouldn't believe what happens to all those problems when you allow the dog to do that. So, of course, we got Nala off leash. Simple e-collar training, no different than at work every dog. You see, Heather still keeps her safe, still has her in a muzzle. Even if she's going to the wilderness where she don't expect to see people, she's always safe. She never says, let me see what happens. Like, she's super cautious, and I love that about her. Once she got her off leash, now when she'd see other dogs or something and could start working those recalls away from that stuff, that goes a long way. And she just kept building on it. Then she got to be able to walk past dogs and see dogs. And every now and then she'll still have issues with certain dogs. That's a dog that will be managed the rest of her life. But she's still alive and thriving. And in that video, when she sent me a video of that playing with a dog, I was like, holy shit, man, this is freaking amazing. Right? I posted a picture or video of Josh from Arkansas with his pity. That dog was a lot, man. It was intense. And Josh has tons of things going on with him. He has every reason not to deal with that dog. Every reason. But the dude's fucking amazing. Right? What happened when we showed him a different way? What happened when we showed him, okay, that behavior we have to punish in a way that makes sense to a dog? And still, to a lot of people, it makes no sense. And I see people who have been doing this a long time, but they're like, it makes no sense. But they can't help these dogs. It's not about what makes sense to us. What makes sense to the dog? You understand? By the end of that weekend, and he's walking through all that line of dogs and people, I'm like, holy shit, I was so nervous for him. And he did it. I was like, damn, every dog that came by and he did it. Then he goes home and he continues. He focuses on the play and he focuses on proper punishment of the things he doesn't like. And he sends pictures and videos of his Luca playing with another dog. I'm like, holy fuck, man. Like, this is life-changing. You understand? Life-changing, man. It's unbelievable what people can do. Does that mean that you're done? You don't have to do anything? Fuck no. No, when you have a dog that dangerous, you're always going to monitor it and be careful, and you don't take chances, right? But if you just try to physically punish that out of a dog, the way most people do, e-collar, prong collars, that dog's going to stop it, maybe for that moment to avoid the discomfort. But you're not changing anything upstairs. You're not. And it's only a matter of time for the dog to say, fuck it. I take my chance, and boom, they go, right? So one of the reasons I post things, I don't ask my clients for this, guys. I don't say 6 years down the road, I don't call people, say, could you send me a video of your dog currently? But people do it, right? And that's when I'll share it. So for me, that's what real success is. 5 years later, 6 years later, 8 years later, the dog dies, right? Not while it just is in your board and train or a week out of your board and train. So you folks in Arkansas, couple years, last year, you guys saw a couple of young ladies that had real serious dogs that would not out, would not, you could choke them, you could beat, it doesn't, they weren't going to out. And what did they say? They just got back from so-and-so seminar where they were eventually outing, choking an e-collar, right? If that's how you train, that I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. But it was hard to convince them we have to take away all that force. It's not helping, right? And when they buck and don't want to change, I ask one simple question that makes everyone think, is it working? That's all you have to ask them. Is it working? And no, it's not. Okay, what do you have to lose? But it's so hard for people to imagine we're going to take away the force. We're going to go much easier. And we're going to show the dog a very different picture. And we're going to see what happens. And in both cases, in less than 15 minutes, both dogs are happily outing. No choking, no e-collar. But what's more important, 2 months later, they're sending videos that I'm sharing on Facebook, playing tug out, boom, spitting it out. You understand? That's what's important to me. And so when I very rarely comment on somebody's stuff unless it's positive, like very rarely. And I've learned my lesson. I will not disagree with anyone on their post. Maybe if they ask me, I'll give my true opinion, but I refuse to do that anymore because people can't handle it. People can't handle it, you know? And then everybody thinks that their way is the best way. It makes sense, right? Otherwise, they'd be doing something different. But if you get out there and you force yourself to truly learn from the best people, but a variety of them, don't ever stick. No one is God in this industry, and no one does everything best, right? There is no one dog trainer that's just the best at everything. So you find the best of the best in all kinds of categories, and you're going to be able to do amazing things if you don't go for entertainment purposes, and if you don't just hop from seminar to seminar for the socialization. Like Dylan Jones, again, back to him. I'm only bringing him up because I've seen him sitting at a seminar with his notepad taking fucking notes, right? And then he invested big money to take Ivan's course and continues to learn. And now he's at a place where he should be teaching a lot of dog trainers out there. That's what you want. You understand? You want to see young people kicking ass out there, because when young people start doing better, that helps a lot of dogs. And is that not, listen, guys, sometimes I get down about it. I don't get a lot of people like let's say to come to a seminar that come with a nice sport dog and just want higher level obedience. Every now and then I do. And when they do, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy, but I don't get that. I get the everyday dog owner, very often with no dog training ability, and that's okay. And very often with a dog that's either way too much for them or a dog that doesn't have anything, doesn't want to do anything, but it wants to kill other dogs or people. And sometimes that gets me really down. And I get like, I get to feel sorry for myself, because I'm like, Joel's over here. He gets to teach cool tricks. These dogs have bows on them and want to do cool things, right? Jay's got these dogs that just want to like bite his head off and play tug and run through a brick wall. And sometimes I get jealous, and you feel bad because you're like, the people that are being here, like paying to audit, now they have to watch me go back to the most basic of dog training with this individual, which I will do. I will do. If someone comes out and say, work your dog, and I see they have nothing, they're doing everything wrong, that's okay. I'm never going to humiliate you or make you feel bad because you're doing everything wrong. But we have to start from the bottom, right? If we go from a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being the best trained dog, best person with skills, right? If you come in at a 0, I'm happy. I'm totally happy because we start going up. But a lot of people come in from a -10 or a -5, and we have to go back to square one, as basic as it gets, just to get to a 0. Does that make sense? And that's what I almost always have to do. And that's okay. I'm okay with doing it. But sometimes I feel really bad for the people that are watching, or the person that came that said, hey, I want to do this cool thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see what you got. And then I'm like, we really can't do that cool thing. We got a lot of work to do first, right? When I get on a phone consultation with someone, or someone shows up for their first private lesson and I see them work their dog, and I say, okay, you're doing everything wrong. And they go, oh man, they feel real bad. I'm like, no, don't feel bad. That's great. That's awesome. Because if you were doing everything right and we have all these problems, well, shit, now it gets a little difficult, right? But because you're doing so much wrong, I'm going to help you with that easily. I'm going to show you everything's going to make more sense to you. And the beautiful thing about it is, the second we start doing things that make more sense for the dog, where your communication is more clear and consistent, we're going to get progress immediately. It's going to be great. And they're like, oh, wow. Okay. I'm glad I'm terrible then, it's crazy. But you have to, sometimes if you guys are struggling, right, and your dog's not into you unless you have food on you and stuff, and you want to get your dog to interact and play, and it just won't, stop trying to force it. Sit down on the floor with your dog on a leash, a long line. Sit down and try to be sincere with the animal. And I don't know how to explain this perfectly. I can show it. And play a little coy, a little hard to get when the dog comes by, right? And give it a little smack, push it away on the ass. Get away from me, right? Hide yourself. That's almost always going to make the dog kind of curious, like, whoa. Why? Because when you push a dog away and you hide, or you hide something, you hide your face, they're like, hey, what are you doing? They're going to want to come back. Get away from me. And sometimes just by taking it down to almost nothing, that elicits that desire, like, wait a second, why are you pushing me away? What are you hiding there? Right? Why are you hiding your face? Right? Maybe you get the dog just coming closer, get away from me, right? And you roll up and the dog's like, shit, what? Almost always gets some kind of decent reaction. You understand? Oh, you don't want to play with this ball? Great. Ooh, now you can't have it, right? Can't have it. I was like, maybe I do want it. Start thinking a little differently. How does the animal see things? How do they see things? What's going to interest them? You understand? But we can go on about this for hours. But to me, it's been my best education. And that is seeing dog owner after dog owner struggle, and where they struggle, what they struggle with, and how easy it is to truly turn them around. Listen, guys, there is no tool that's going to change a life. There's no method. There's no technique that's going to change a life. None of it. All those things can complement that totality of that relationship and bond between the human and the dog. They can all complement it, but they could all destroy it also. You understand? So that's why often when someone comes in, the prong collar's on or the e-collar's on, I almost always know if I have to have them just take it off. Take it off, put it away. We don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. Thank you, Megan. That makes me very happy. But that's been my goal, Megan, and it's not always easy, right? And that little experiment I did at the IACP conference a few years ago, it was a good awakening for a lot of dog trainers. How hard it is for people to learn this stuff because it's hard for dog trainers, right? And so imagine for the everyday dog owner, you're not going to motivate people to be dog trainers. That's not our goal. You understand? So if we can make it so simple and so easy to where anyone can like legitimately apply it, then we're going to have much more success. You feel me? You feel me? Any questions, guys? I don't want to keep you right at an hour. I don't want to keep you too long. I know some of you losers have to work tomorrow. Just kidding. Just kidding. Any questions, folks? And there was more I wanted to talk about, but then I'd be on here way too long, and I don't want to do that to you, you know? Patty, let's see what Patty says. I'm going to see you soon, right, Patty? Because of you and Jay, I've started taking away the force with reactive dogs, and the difference is insane. It's like I see the dog, but I see you handle it. Thanks, Patty. That's awesome. And listen, here's the thing, and I have to tell people, and you've heard me say this, Patty, and I'm sure Megan has too, at a seminar, when I'm teaching something, especially when it has to do with punishment or stuff, I have to tell people like all weekend, guys, I don't do this. Like I've never done this with the dog. Like I don't do this. And that makes no sense. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I don't have to because I put in the time to change things. But I want you to understand it in a very basic, simple way, how the dog sees things. I want you to have the information so it makes everything else easier. You know, that's really hard for people to grasp. It really is. But I think it's really important for them to understand. You're late, Dylan. You're so late. What's up, Nick? Hey, Connie. I'll see you soon if it ever stops raining. It's supposed to be nasty all week, but we'll see you here very soon. Let me see. If there's no questions, I'll let you guys get going. Oh, what am I doing here? All right. Hide current comment, I guess. I don't know. All right. There we go. I'm so bad with this stuff. I told my wife she's gonna have to do a live with me soon because now she sees where we're at here. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, the rain's been awful, man. I just I don't like people driving from out of state coming to train in the pouring rain. Why isn't this working for me anymore? All right, I'm going up. If you have any questions, hey Sue, how are you, my friend? Hello, Rosa. I think Jay has one for his, which is more in depth than mine. Mine's real basic, Rosa. I put everything on a cue, easy, and then we massage, right? Because, like I said, anything we start getting consistent with that comes out of our mouths, it really benefits the dog a great deal. Like I said, the average dog person, the average dog trainer, they're getting ready to go train, right? The treat pouch goes on, all this stuff. You're already letting the dog know so much, and I don't want the dog to know that stuff. So before I do anything, I'm saying, you ready? And it doesn't matter what they're doing. If they're sleeping, if they got their head in a gopher, it doesn't matter. If I say you ready, they're flying to me. They're flying to me because they know we're about to do something. And I think Jay was the one saying it recently, the last time we were at a seminar. If those markers are real strong, like all the window stuff he teaches, you don't even need to teach a recall. And he's right. He is absolutely right, because no matter what your dog is doing, you say, you ready? Boom, they're flying to you, right? And that's another thing we started talking about. We touched on dealing with choices, allowing the dog to make choices. What we see a lot is people with reactive dogs. It's so common, right? They see the dog, they start marking and rewarding. And listen, there's a place for that, right? And there is something I do that kind of entails that. But for the most part, you're going to get a lot of false positives, right? Meaning the dog is not blowing up because it just wants what you have right now. But are you changing the mind? That there could be use for that. Don't get me wrong, right? But what I preferred to do is, hey, maybe I got a ball on me and this dog loves playing with me. And now we see a dog, and normally he would blow up, but now he doesn't. And I say, good job, buddy. That was fantastic. I'm going to give feedback to that. And then he's going to look up and I'm going to say, you know what? Yes, boom. Look what I got for you. Surprise. And we're playing. What do you think's more powerful, right? Trying to distract him with food or a toy, or rewarding him big time for what he loves the most for making the right choice? It's important to let the dogs make the choices. He makes the wrong choice, we're going to deal with it. Nah, dude, that's not what we're doing right now, right? We're not going to remove him from the situation. We're going to let him know that was a bad idea. You can't do that. You know this, right? Again, why we let the behavior happen and not try to interrupt the thought, which so many people do. You understand? You feel me? This is really good bourbon, by the way. How do you avoid the dog smelling the ball or toy on you? Oh, it's definitely possible, Dylan. Definitely possible. You know, you do your best not to stay up, downwind of them. You know, uh, Lisa, do you correct aggression towards other dogs, and that's after laying all the foundation, and the dog still blows up when he sees another dog passing by? If the dog's still blowing up like before, then I haven't laid the foundation. You understand? Then I did something wrong. Then I put the dog in that situation a little too quick. But if that's going to happen, then yes, I'm going to deal with that, right? But I'm going to deal in a way that's very different from what most people are going to do to deal with that. You understand? You see the impact dog? No, I didn't, Nick. I didn't see that. I thought when you said dumb dumb dog, I thought you were talking about Buddy, my golden doodle, which by the way, we got some bad news from Buddy, and he's not doing really well. He's got cancer inside his throat, and there's nothing they could do for that, and it's breaking my heart. So he regurgitates all his food every meal and has to eat it back up. It's horrible. Julio, when would you switch to a randomized reward system? Pretty quick, Julio. Pretty fast. Don't wait long. You know, when I'm teaching a new behavior, then I'm rewarding a lot every time at first, but then I'm going to quickly get away from that. Listen, here's a couple things. Think about this. This might bore some of you, but I'm fascinated by nerd stuff, right? So right now, the last thing I had to add for IGP with Dante is we're working on our jumps. I just added them recently. He's not a great jumper, so I'm taking it slow. I added a stake, a pole in the ground now on the other side of the jump, probably 20 feet away, because when he goes over the jump, I want him going far enough out, like where the dumbbell is going to be, right, to get in the habit of that. And he's doing pretty good. The jump's only about halfway height right now. I'm going up a little at a time. The other day, he's doing that, and he's doing really well. And at this time, I'm just using food for the most part, and I'm keeping the drive down. He goes over it, goes around. As soon as he goes around the pole, I say yes. He comes back with speed over the jump back to me. That's why I'm marking it with the yes at the pole, not when he comes back to me. Marking it yes at the pole is going to build speed. And we're doing that, and he's doing really well, right? So then on one of the next repetitions, I wanted him to get a little more fired up. And I gave him his cue that we're about to do something. I said, you ready? And he got fired up. And I told him up, which is to jump over. And he didn't go over it. He ran around it. Didn't go over the jump. Because me using that cue for him, that marker, that you ready, we're about to do something, totally changed the picture for him. You understand? Now we're not working on something new. Now we're going to do something he loves. Now, eventually, fairly quickly, that jump will be something he loves. You understand? But he taught me something right there. He taught me something big time. Now, yesterday, again, I'm a big fan of using one repetition when I'm teaching something new with their food bowl, right? So, for example, if I'm starting to teach a send away, I may take their food bowl at night. They eat once a day, and I may send them down to their food bowl, right? Or whatever I'm teaching new. Right now, it's the jumps. So I go out with his food bowl day one, and I put him in a heel, and he's fired up because That food bowl is way different than having food in your pockets, right? Way different. He's fired up. I say up, and he goes over the jump around the pole fast. I say yes. He flies back. Boom, food goes down, right? The very next day, this is when you know your markers are strong. And this is how strong they should be. Same situation. I got his food bowl. I put him in a heel. I tell him up. He runs down. He goes around that pole. I didn't say yes. I wanted to see what he did. Went around the pole again. Went around the pole again. I said yes. He flies back. Why did he keep going around the pole? He didn't hear yes. Up until that point, that's where I was marking the behavior. And when he didn't hear it, he wasn't coming back. The yes is what makes him fly to me. When he didn't hear it, he kept going around the pole fast, waiting to hear it. On the third time, I said, yes, boom, he flew back. Think about that, how sensitive they are to everything. But at the same time, he let me know my marker system with him, it's powerful, it's strong, right? And I need to be clear with him because I can't take it for granted. He's going to be very literal. If I tell him to do something, he's going to do it. If I don't tell him to do something, which was not giving him the yes, he's going to keep doing what he thinks he's supposed to do, right? Now, how many people do you think would have punished him for not coming back, for instead running around the pole? A lot of people would have punished that. Whoa, he's supposed to come back to me. He's not doing it to be defiant. He's doing it because he thinks I want him to do that. So guess what? I use that to teach him, no, keep running around whatever I send you to until I mark it. That's a teaching opportunity. That's an opportunity to teach something new on top of what you're already doing. You understand? So when you guys are training your dogs, guys, if you keep doing the same old boring shit, man, they're going to just be bored with life. You've got to make it interesting. And you guys that work with me, you know, I'll take the obedience your dog knows, and we're going to present it in multiple different pictures, many different pictures, right? When I saw Warren and Salem a couple of weeks ago down at the park, I said, okay, Warren, let's do this. Salem's full of fire. She loves that ball. Let's put the ball down here, put her in a down over here. Now she has to run past the ball to get to you. When she gets to you, reward that. And I said, she's going to fail it the first time, right? I said, the second she goes to grab that ball, just mark it with a no, bring her back, show her that's not what I want, reset it. Well, guess what? She didn't fail it. She freaking excelled in it. Why? Because he's doing all kinds of stuff with her like that at home, keeping her mentally challenged, not just physically. You think that doesn't help her intensity wanting to go jump on a dog? Absolutely. All of it helps. All of it helps. It's really important. That's why he's having the success with that dog. What's up, Nick? How you doing, buddy? Nick, I was telling them I'm extremely happy with the success of our video so far. So I gotta thank Nick for that, because I wasn't interested at first, because I'm like, nobody wants to see me anymore. And I've done this e-collar shit so much, but this freaking guy, he knows what he's doing. That's for damn sure. Hope I see you soon, Nick. Well, I'm going to have no choice because my wife's really on me, buddy. Really on me. All right, guys. Any more questions? If not, I'm going to let you all go. Ooh. What's up, David? How you doing, buddy? I hope I see you again in March or April. I'll be coming back to Australia and New Zealand in March or April. I just got some dates to choose from today, so we will be doing that. Thanks, Megan. Simple as could be. Simple as could be. And Nick did a really nice job putting all that stuff together, man. It really, really did. And by the way, there was we never. Well, I guess this isn't normal, but we didn't redo things. Like, we did everything one shot. Just did it as it really is. Ooh, all right. Good deal. Good deal, guys. Thank you, Christy. Well, appreciate you guys all tuning in on a Tuesday night. Please try to hit my wife up on Facebook, Stephanie Garcia Krohn, because I keep telling her we need to do one of these now that she's helping me. She's a big part of this. And hey, Pam, and like you guys, hey, Yuki, how are you? And we have to get her on here so we could expand everyone's brain a little bit, right? All right, guys, thank you again. And guys, again, thank you so much for all the support with the video, the e-collar video on Sit, Stay, Learn. It's I'm so excited about the feedback you guys are giving me. I appreciate it very much. And we'll see you all soon. Peace.